Good morning. Assalamualaikum. Wait for this thing. Awesome. Good morning, everybody. Alright, we're going to go ahead and start out with our daily word, and then we are beginning to see the finishes of David's temple, built out by King Solomon, and the result of that. It's very beautiful reading here in 1 Kings that we'll get into a little bit later. But to begin, let's start out with the Qur'an and see what the daily message is for the day. I hope everybody's doing well, and thank you for joining me. In the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. Alright. We have something from Surah 11, line 116. Okay. This is a little bit of foreshadowing of what's to come in 1 Kings. But right now we are enjoying a time of prosperity. We are enjoying a time of collaboration, of alliance. So let's go ahead and just read out this line and see what this has to say. We've actually read it was either this one or something very similar. But let's continue. Why were there not among the generations before you persons possessed of balanced good sense, prohibiting men from mischief in the earth, except a few among them who we saved from harm? But the wrongdoers pursued the enjoyment of the good things of life which were given them, and persisted in sin. Okay. So what this is telling us immediately is that there are few that are warners, and there are few that take up anything but the normal life, the normal way of living. And what's seen as normal is often filled with excess, right? Excess enjoyment and excess sin in turn. Balanced. Alrighty. Alright. Let's go ahead and read this once more. Why were there among the generations before you persons possessed of... why were there not? Hold on. Why were there not among the generations before you persons possessed of balanced good sense, prohibiting men from mischief in the earth, except a few among them whom we saved from harm? But the wrongdoers pursued the enjoyment of the good things of life which were given to them, and persisted in sin. All right. Well, this line is interesting because it says here, the good things of life were given to these people, to the wrongdoers. So that's why we said before, it's not all bad, right? You get some good, good things are given to you, but is it to mislead you? Is it to distract you? I guess that's what we have to remind ourselves of and keep ourselves in check of, is avoiding the distractions, avoiding the excess, because it can certainly become a distraction. And good things of life aren't entirely bad in itself, but when it proves to be a distraction from the mission, right, or from inspiring others to be a certain way or to live a certain way, that's when things can get a little bit muddy, okay? And it says, why were there not among the generations before you persons possessed of balanced good sense? So we're looking for those, right? People with balanced good sense. And I think everybody these days seems a little bit unhinged, whether one way or the other, right? But what we're looking for and what we're seeking is balanced good sense. There's a few of us, though, and there were a few of us in the generations before whom did possess balanced good sense, and they were saved. So that's just really just reading it back and breaking it down in the most literal sense. Let's see. It says here the line before, and be steadfast in patience, for verily Allah will not suffer the reward of the righteous to perish. Okay? So we talked about death and how it does occur, right? And how it's not uncommon. But Allah does not suffer the reward of the righteous to perish. So we wish and we seek for more righteous versus those who are distracted and persist in sin. And again, sometimes it's not the actual sin or the action, right? That is the problem. It's the things that lead after. So excess and good things of life, enjoyment, is not a sin in itself, but it's the things that lead after. Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and title this out, you guys. We're going to go into a beautiful section of 1 Kings. We're going to learn about the construction of the temple in great detail, and we're going to learn about King Solomon's blessing towards the people and his prayer to the Lord after the construction of the temple was complete. All right. Placing this here. I hope everybody's having a good day today. Thanks for listening. I'll catch you back in just a few seconds. All right, goodbye.